Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get right into today's video. So for today's video, it is going to be a little bit different from the rest, but I am going to be starting a new series today that is called Scary Story Saturdays. And every Saturday, I'm going to try to upload a video where I'm going to be reading scary stories. I'm super excited for this. This will be obviously different from my other videos. This is more for entertainment purposes rather than a nail tutorial, but I have plenty of videos on my channel where I'm doing nail tutorials, and I will still continue to do that throughout the rest of the days of the week, but Saturdays will be designated to Scary Story Saturdays. I am super excited for this. I know it's been a trend. I love watching these videos, so I know other people love watching them. So I have just decided that I want to start up this little series on my channel. I really hope that you guys will enjoy watching this, and if you think this is something you would enjoy watching, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you are notified when I do upload videos like this. So in today's video, I am going to be doing a polygel nail set. I'm going to be using just some different products, and I'm not really using any like new products or anything like that. And I'm going to be creating a black Valentine's Day nail set. Alrighty, so I'm going to start off with the first story. The first story is a Reddit story, and it is by No Sleep, and My Mother Did Not Exist is the title. I'm finishing college and sorting out the last details so I can go back home, packing my bags, putting all my belongings into boxes. I'm not nearly as sad as the other graduates. Don't get me wrong, I loved college, made few good friends, dated a couple of girls, hell, I even got drunk a few times. That was new for me, but I sure missed my hometown a lot. I've grown up with a single mom, and she'd been rather protective throughout my childhood and teen years. Even though she worried a lot about my safety and well-being, she was a ray of sunshine in my life. I never really had an extensive group of friends besides some kids I sat with at lunch in school. I did have one good friend though, Luke. My mom liked him and thought he was a nice kid, but she wouldn't allow me to have him over. She would say our home was our safe place, whatever that meant. So we would hang out at his place or go to the park in the afternoon. That was one of the tamest set of rules. As loving and caring as my mom is, looking back, she did instill some weird pillars in me. For instance, there were no mirrors in our home, not even in the bathroom. No talking about our home life. She is a private person and would shy away from neighbors. As far as I know, she didn't have any friends and wouldn't talk to anyone except for myself. She would also just disappear for some time. I learned pretty early on how to cook and clean, and I'd do so when she wasn't home. I would never hear the front door open or close though. One minute she would be sitting on the couch, and the next I was completely alone. Of course this was something I respected. After all, she took care of a child by herself, so I understand that she needed time to think and go for a walk now and then. She was a stay-at-home mom, so we were pretty close until I moved to college, 3 hours away. She was sad she couldn't drive me there, so it was quite the hassle for an 18-year-old to move all her life to another city on her own. Luke did help with fitting everything inside my small Beetle, and I was grateful for his help. Still, she would call every week, and we would tell each other what we've been up to. She has grown distant this last year, though. It was gradual at first. She told me that I shouldn't visit on the holidays and stay in the campus as to embrace the experience. I did go back against her wishes on Christmas of my first year, and she was thrilled to have me back. But when I fell into the routine and just stopped visiting altogether, maybe that's why I was so excited to go back home. She was my best friend after all. We don't have any other family members. She cut contacts with her parents pretty early on in life, and she was the only child. As to my dad, as far as I know, he was a deadbeat that abandoned us when I was born. She didn't like to talk about him, and she never dated anyone afterwards. She kept herself she kept to herself mostly. She'd walk with me to school every morning and pick me up after football. That was our little ritual. We'd laugh about our days and she'd make sure that I was well integrated and happy. My mom called a couple days ago. I told her how happy I was to be coming back home, but her enthusiasm wasn't nearly as palpable as mine. She was rather sad. Now that you have finished your degree, you have to live your life. You don't need me anymore. I remember how she stuttered with that last sentence, and that broke my heart. I love her deeply. We only have each other, and she is without a doubt the most caring and beautiful soul I have ever met. I remember when I came out to her. Sweetie, I just want you to be happy. It's not important what that happiness looks like. As long as I know you're okay and safe, I couldn't have asked for a better parent. As I sit in my dorm bed for the last time, I grab my phone and fidget with it for a bit. I don't want to bother Luke, but it would be helpful if he could come and fit a few boxes in his car. His van and a single trip would be great. Luke stayed in our hometown to take care of his dad. He had a stroke on our last year of college. I remember it clear as day. His call, the trip in the cab to the hospital. He's the youngest son. His two brothers were already married and living with their families. So Luke chose to give up on his full scholarship, and instead he had been running the family business for a few years now. I know he's pretty busy these days, but I still gave it a try. I press call and wait. I miss his smile and his contagious energy. I'm actually hoping he can make it so I can show him around a bit and have him meet my friend group. Hey Chloe, how are you? I smiled. He sounds tired, but his voice is also cheerful as ever. Luke, how's everything been going? Look, it's totally fine if you say no, but do you think you could help you with the moving? Absolutely. I haven't seen you in a few months, kid. I have so much to tell you. I think I'll propose to Anna. His voice got a few notes higher as he said the word propose. What? I almost shouted. Anna is in high school, sweetheart. She's an amazing girl, and I couldn't be more thrilled to see them build a future together. I'm so happy for you. Get your ass over here. We have to plan the details of that proposal. He laughed, and I could tell he was smiling. Sounds like a plan. How's tomorrow morning? I could be there at 12 p.m. I hesitated a little before answering. Actually, you think you could come any earlier? I really want to have lunch with my mother. She thinks I'm coming in for a few days, so I thought I'd surprise her. Luke scoffed. Come on, Chloe. Did you have a lot to drink tonight? You got wilder in college? God damn it. I'm regretting not going to now. What? I'm confused. Luke knows how important my mother is to me. He knows how much I miss her. We've talked about it before. I'm sure of it. For real. I mean it. You know, I've always been a mama's girl. Chloe, what are you talking about? Your mom? What's her name? Her name? Come on, you know her name. My thought process trailed off completely. I've always called her mom. I can't remember her name. Now that I think about it, she's always just mom to me. You know who she is, Luke. She'd take me to school every day. Chloe, no, I'm completely sure you'd walk alone to school. I remember waiting for you at the gate in the mornings. Is he joking? And she was right there with me. Don't you remember? She had long hair and that's all I could remember about her. Besides the long dark hair, I couldn't remember any of her features. I know she has the kindest eyes I've ever seen, but I can't picture the color or shape. I know she is beautiful and tall, but there's only fog when I try to imagine her face. My lip quivers ever so slightly. I'm worried about you. His voice is lower now. I can sense how lost he is. I lived with her for 18 years, but I can't remember anything about her looks. I don't know what's happening to me. I'm scared. Chloe, you lived alone on that old house for as long as I've known you. We've always thought there was a grandparent there, but I never thought to ask because I thought it was a sensitive subject. I've had the talk with my parents. I'm sorry, maybe I should have been there for you. I know it's hard, but you have to come to terms with reality. There was never any mom. You're an orphan. I'm not so sure about going back home now. So that was the ending to that story, and there are some comments on this post, so I just wanted to read some of them because I was thinking like what her mom actually was. One of the comments say, go home and see your ghost mom. So there is a possibility that her mom is like a ghost. But then this comment seems a little bit more of what I was thinking, like no mirrors. Because remember, there was no mirrors in the house. She didn't allow mirrors. So no mirrors seems to me like your mother did exist, but not entirely, and wouldn't be visible in mirrors. Your mother's soul maybe, or some kind of spirit that acted as a mother in your childhood. So I think that is kind of where it's going in my opinion, like, because I remember her saying that there wasn't allowed to be mirrors in the house. So I feel like her mother did exist, but something about the mirrors, if there was mirrors in their house, like something about how her mother, you couldn't see her through the mirrors or something like that because she wasn't an actual person. I don't know, leave your comments below. I thought it was a good story, but it didn't really give me chills or anything like that. And yeah, I mean, I tried my best to find a story, but I was having a little bit of troubles, especially because if you guys follow me on Instagram, you saw that I had messed up a nail set, so I was struggling on trying to get a nail set good, and just, I wanted to start this series this Saturday because I actually thought about it last Friday, and I've been thinking like, I need to do this on Saturday so I can start this series. But I'm gonna go ahead and read another story. Okay, so here is the next story. This one is by Reddit Stories and it's Scary Stories, and its title is Writing on the Walls. He could hear footsteps outside his bedroom door. After 7 years of being alive, he'd grown accustomed to knowing what his mom's footsteps sounded like in comparison to his dad's, so he knew this didn't sound like either of them. They sounded distant, like they were at the end of the hallway where their bedroom was. For a moment, they stopped. His heart raced in his chest like a butterfly desperate to be released. His small digital alarm clock flashed 2:44. Shouldn't he be sleeping now? He was never awake at this time, ever. He knew he didn't wake up until 7 a.m. for school. Silence. The clock flashed 2:56. The footsteps started again, slowly, closer to his bedroom door, and then the doorknob began to turn. He stifled a gasp as he shut his eyes quietly, forcing them together. Don't flutter, he thought. Relax. Sleeping people stay relaxed. Whoever the person was in the doorway stood still for a moment. The room was pitch black, minus the red of the alarm clock numbers. Would he dare a peek, just for a second? Maybe his older brother was playing a prank, although they didn't sound like his footsteps either. And he did. He peeked. Half of his face was pressed into the pillow, so he used that eye to look. He allowed it to open, so slowly, so quietly, that whoever it was couldn't have seen. Or rather, whatever it was. In the brief glimpse he got with only a half-human physique towering in that doorway. But he could not mistake the shape of his dead mother's body dragging along behind it by her deformed arm, or his father's body slugged over his shoulder. His brother's body was laying in the hallway behind it, his eyes wide open but distinctly lifeless. His eye closed shut again as he pretended to sleep. This had to be a nightmare. It had to be. He heard a rustle and then a thump, followed by a disturbing screeching sound. Remaining as still as he could, he allowed his eye to flicker open again, to see the creature now kneeling away from him over his dad's body, digging its nails into his flesh and bringing its hand up to his empty bedroom wall. It was writing something, and it was using his dad's blood. His own blood pounded in his ears. His heart hammering away now. Fear made the bedsheet stick to his perforated body. The creature finished writing, but the words were obscured from the boy's view. And as the creature turned away, he shut his eye. He heard the beast slink toward him, and just as he expected the worst, listened to it creep beneath his bed and settled there, now silent. All he could hear was his own breath as he tried to force it to stay settled. He kept his eyes shut, waiting. After what felt like a lifetime had passed, he dared to open his eyes once more. First they caught the clock, which now flashed 3:12, and then to the body scattered on the landing in his doorway, and finally to the words etched onto his wall in dark glistening blood. His breath caught in his throat. No sound came from beneath the bed. "I know you're awake." So that was the end of the second story, and there were no really good comments explaining anything, but I am just wondering who that person was, and like, was he, I don't know, like what was that story about? Like, I think it was a really good story, and that one kind of gave me some chills, like listening to what he was seeing, like just thinking about like opening your eyes as you hear a noise and you're tucked under the covers. Like, I feel like that's what gave me the chills, and the writing on the wall, like what it said, like, "I know you're awake." But there were really no comments or anything, so I'm really curious what you guys think that like creature or demon or whatever that was. So comment below. And those two are the only stories I am going to be reading today, because I am almost finished with this nail set. And one thing I really want to try to do through these like scary story Saturdays is make sure I read like all of a story. I don't want to leave you guys on a cliffhanger. Like, I don't want to start one story and not make it through all to the end of that story and then need to read that story in another video. So I don't want to do that, because I know I'm almost finished with the nail set. But yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoyed those two stories. This was my first time doing this, so I probably sounded a little like crispy, especially because I just woke up. Yesterday, I was really struggling with the nail sets, trying to film this, trying to get a good nail set, and also looking into scary stories. So I do apologize if I sounded a little crackly, a little like I just woken up, but I wanted to be sure I got this out on today, which is Saturday. So if you guys are enjoying this, if you did like those stories, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out a lot. And another thing, if you do want this series to continue, comment below. I really do want to continue this series because I love reading scary stories and I love watching videos like this. So I just kind of want to continue the series. I also really hope that you guys enjoyed the nail set. I did not talk about it or anything like that, but if you do want a more in-depth tutorial on like the Femi Beauty method or polygel nails or encapsulation, I do have videos on my channel. So be sure to subscribe, go to my playlist. You can click on polygel and just watch them all, or you can just scroll through and see which video would be more helpful to you. But these Scary Story Saturdays will be more for an entertainment purpose versus a learning and tutorial. But here is the nail set. It is all finished. I just applied my cuticle oil and I was totally in love with this nail set. My inspiration was Nails by Vic. She did a nail set like this, but she did pink, and I decided that I wanted to do one more black Valentine's Day nail set before I had to stop doing Valentine's Day nail sets. But overall, I really hope that you guys enjoyed those stories. I hope that you enjoyed watching me create this nail set. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy. But as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.